All right, good evening to all of our viewers in Arkansas, Oklahoma, and in Missouri. I'm Joshua Weisel here with a look at your forecast. Let's show you what we got for tomorrow morning across the region. Now, as you can see, we do have, once again, lows that are going to be anywhere from maybe a couple upper 60s into the lower to close to mid 70s. Now, further to the east in our coverage area, northwest Arkansas, southwest Missouri, even parts of the River Valley, where those temperatures are just a little bit lower, there is the potential that we could see some patchy fog tomorrow morning. We'll have more on that with the Foghorns morning fog outlook. So we make our way into tomorrow afternoon. A little bit warmer in some locations compared to the last couple of days as we're slowly starting to warm our way into the more summer-like temperatures as we make our way into the next several days. In fact, there's even some triple-digit heat. We'll show you that with the 7-day forecast here coming up. Otherwise, upper 80s, lower 90s look to be the forecasted highs tomorrow, with mostly sunny skies once again, and the opportunity for maybe a pop-up shower or two. We'll have more on that with the future scan radar. No severe weather is expected for the remainder of this evening into tomorrow. We're not expecting organized severe weather, but we are anticipating maybe a potential for one or two pop-ups during the afternoon and evening across the area once again tomorrow. So it's going to be kind of the same thing going forward the next couple of days before it starts to be a lot warmer and drier in terms of the pattern. But in the meantime, the opportunity's there for maybe one or two pop-ups in the afternoon and evening across the region. There's rain chances right around the medium to the high level, just depending on the area. But keep in mind with the pop-up activity, the area that shows high, that's going to be widespread, but that doesn't mean that widespread rain activities are going to occur. In fact, if areas do see additional rainfall over the next, 24 hours or so, we're talking only a couple tenths of an inch. Now, some areas that experience some slightly heavier rainfall with the pop-ups, maybe closer to a half an inch to just under an inch for most areas. And then, not expecting rain totals, over the course of 6 to 12 hours between 3 to 7 inches or anything along the lines there, like we saw with some of the days that we saw in June. It's just looking like we got some isolated to scattered pop-ups that are going to be possible. Here's a look at the morning fog outlook. This has changed since this morning, and now the models are kind of picking up on what they didn't have a full grasp on for this morning. Now, the models did an okay job. It did highlight the potential for some fog in parts of the River Valley and in eastern Oklahoma. It did that pretty good. Now, this morning, it didn't really, catch on to the northwest Arkansas part of that, just for full forecasting transparency. Models aren't perfect, but for the Foghorns morning fog outlook, as we're taking a look at this, forecasted output, it's now catching on northwest Arkansas, parts of northeast Oklahoma, River Valley, southwest Missouri. There is going to be the potential for some patchy fog once again tomorrow morning. We're not talking any sort of widespread activity. Wouldn't surprise me if maybe some areas picked up an advisory or so, but this morning we did see a couple of dense fog advisories. They weren't long-lived. In fact, they were canceled early. So we'll have to keep an eye on this activity as we head to tomorrow morning, but we're not expecting widespread or significant issues. Huge shout out to Foghorns. Thank you so much to them for, sponsoring our channel. Make sure that you support them like they support us. You can visit their locations in Springdale and in Fayetteville. And grateful to have them as a sponsor here. Coming up in the extended 7-day forecast, or the extended forecast, we're going to have the 7-day forecast. We're going to have the, future scan radar, all of that. And we have a lot warmer temperatures on the way with the extended temperature outlook. You won't want to miss that. We'll be right back here in just a second. If you like our media and forecast, be sure to support us today on Patreon. You can advertise with us this storm season and throughout the year. Contact us today for availability and pricing. Weather 225 since 2015. All right, here's a look at future scan radar for overnight tonight into tomorrow, and you can see mostly clear, but tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, there's going to be a couple of opportunities for some pop-up showers and some thunderstorms, not long-lived, and then as we head to the morning of the 18th, some additional showers will be possible. And then that afternoon, some additional, maybe one or two pop-ups will be possible. That may be the case for parts of the area all the way through Sunday, but no widespread rain is expected as we make our way forward. In fact, things are going to be low precipitation chance-wise the next couple of days, and then it's going to gradually start to dry out as we make our way into next week. Speaking of the extended forecast, unfortunately, well above average temperatures making their way even further into our neck of the woods. So this is going to be a pretty warm stretch of weather. In fact, there's a couple of models that are trying to output highs anywhere from 100 to 103 in some locations. It's going to be warm going forward. And in addition to that, we mentioned that, the forecasted pattern was right around the average, potential for some rain. That still remains. Some good news for the Texas Hill Country going forward, especially because there's been devastating floods, over the last 48 hours in the Texas Hill Country. Our thoughts and prayers go out to them. I've got some good news for anyone who has friends and family in that region. Notice below average precipitation over the next 8 to 14 days. So this is a little bit further out. There's still going to be some rain chances the next couple of days, unfortunately, but going forward, it looks like the pattern is going to start to favor a lot drier conditions. So that doesn't mean that rain chances are going to be zero, but it means that the pattern is looking a lot more favorable for drier conditions. So that's a look at what we got there. In terms of our region, you can see still into the average category. 7-day forecast, we got some things to address, and that's going to be Tuesday. There could be near triple-digit heat in northwest Arkansas. Otherwise, lower to mid-90s will be pretty persistent. Low rain chances the next several days as well, all the way through about Sunday, and then it's going to be a lot more of a ridging pattern, which means dry and hot conditions as we make our way into next week. Now, we've got some outdoor events coming up here. I know we've got PBR that's going to be doing some bull riding in Springdale coming up this weekend. Hey, it's looking warm. It's looking sunny. There's going to be the potential for maybe an isolated pop-up shower or two in the afternoon and evening. Otherwise, no major issues. Farmers markets in the morning into the afternoon or the early or midday. It just depends on how long some of these go. There is going to be some warm weather in the morning. So if you're thinking about bringing your pet late morning, early, midday, it's probably going to be a little bit too warm. Earlier in the morning is going to be better to walk your dogs going forward, just in general. And then River Valley, we got some highs near 102 forecasted. So, it's going to be hot. It's going to be summer-like. And this is going to be one of the warmest stretches of weather that we've seen so far this year. I know we've said that a handful of times, but, as you've been seeing the last several weeks, it's been kind of just gradually warming up since the 4th of July, where mid-upper 90s was the warmest that we saw. And now we're starting to get to a point where triple digits are going to be a little bit more of the, hottest temperatures that we've seen so far this year. Thinking of the right word, and not doing too well on that, I will say. Here's a look at what we got for northeast Oklahoma. Same thing. We got triple-digit heat that's in the forecast there. Morning lows are going to be near 80, depending on the day. And then, same with southwest Missouri. There's actually going to be the opportunity on Tuesday. I think the hottest day of the week for all of the region is going to be Tuesday. So if you work outdoors or anything along those lines, please plan accordingly, because it's looking pretty warm out there. Triple-digit heat pretty much for all of the area. Maybe not northwest Arkansas entirely, but there will potentially be some triple digits in northwest Arkansas as it's looking right now. It's just questionable for the actual recording location in Drakefield. That one's typically, I love to tell people, that's typically about 5 degrees cooler or warmer in the mornings than some other locations. And in the afternoon, it's typically off by, 3 degrees from some other hot locations, or it's 3 degrees warmer. Now, that may not be the exact, number, but that's just an example of how crazy the weather is here in northwest Arkansas. That's a look at what we got there. Stay tuned. We'll have the latest here coming up tomorrow morning.